Good look.
All right, can you let everybody in, Alex?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's mute up and let Shondell and Chris take it away.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining us tonight or in the morning. I don't know where everybody is. I see David and Cyrus, Jesse, Terry. See somebody else is joining right now. We're gonna wait like maybe one more minute and let some more guests join us. Looks like Athena might be having some trouble. Stop, David Janus. Don't you start the yawn.
Oh, could you hear me? Damn.
No, I could see you.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been a long day.
I'm sure it has. And the heat is not helping these long days.
No, I was outside mowing lawns, doing stuff today. This was quite hot.
He's in LA. He's another friend of mine, Chris. So I was just out in LA. He's up in it's by Beverly Hills, right?
Pretty like Miracle Mile, yeah.
Yeah, Miracle Mile. So kind of a situation.
Awesome.
Cool. It looks like Athena has joined or no, disconnected. All right, I'm texting her. But
it also looks like there's no audio going through the stream right now.
Definitely can't hear anybody but you and Quinn.
Okay. I think that's all who's talking.
Okay.
But we're recording it in another medium, and I don't think we're getting audio to that.
Oh, that's right. And it's Zy.
Uh-huh.
Got it.
Let's give it like just another 60 seconds and see if he can. He says he's figuring it out, and we know he will.
Yeah.
We hope everybody had a good Independence Day and that our neighbors hold off on the extra fireworks while we're trying to get all this good information from Chris. And you guys are sitting down with us with your leftover barbecue and ready to learn some stuff.
We shot off fireworks and our neighbors came out and they're like, "You should be ashamed of yourself. Our baby is sleeping." And it was like 7:30, 8 p.m.
I mean, that's what time babies go to bed, but also like the whole country's doing it, lady. What do you want?
Exactly, yeah. It's like, God, just go home.
Should have kept her up from her nap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, we have, like I said, we have 3 dogs, so I know like they go nuts, but I wouldn't run outside and ruin anybody's fun. Like that's what we're up to. We are lucky enough to be where there's a lot of desert behind us, but also there's 2 casinos in the area. So we get a pretty awesome fireworks display just by sitting on the back balcony.
That's cool.
It looks like Quinn's communicating with Cy right now. And hopefully he'll give us the go ahead pretty soon. And while we're waiting, Chris, is there anything fun or exciting you have coming up? professionally?
Business wise?
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to hear about like all the awesome parties you go to and like your grocery store shopping trips, but professional.
Yeah, I have me and my team are working on a growth campaign with Cristiano Ronaldo's wife right now. So that's pretty cool. And I'll explain, giveaway growth and those types of different like social media campaigns later on. But it's kind of cool, like just seeing like a lot of the influencers that like me or like my partners have connections with. So
Mhm.
like, we just did a campaign with Jason Derulo, a couple weeks ago, which was really cool to see. We have an upcoming one with Christina Milian in like July 17th. So it's just really cool to like see like the different like people that like my partners know, and I'm like, I didn't even know you knew who they were, but they're like, it's just like, it's cool to see like how small of a world it is. Everyone's connected with everyone.
Interesting. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I guess when you're in that circle, you're in that circle.
Yeah. There's definitely once you get in this space, like, everybody knows somebody,
6 degrees of separation.
Exactly.
All right, well, it looks like we have the go ahead. And so, of course, everybody, we are talking to Chris Kinney today. And one of the topics that we wanted to jump into was understanding the importance of targeted marketing campaigns in the music industry. Do you want to speak a little bit to us about that?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory in terms of like, having like targeted like marketing campaigns, because obviously the word targeted means, catering to that niche, or like being like more specific for your ads. So I think it's really important to have like targeted marketing campaigns, but something that I just kind of noted was also understanding the fact that when you're looking for like more of a targeted campaign, especially when it's kind of more like you're not just running like boosting posts on Instagram or something like that. Like typically the more targeted it is, the more expensive it can be. So I think a lot of people, like clients that I've worked with in the past, in the beginning, their whole goal was like, I want something very targeted. I want something that, every single, follower that I get, or listener or whatever, needs to be like super catered to me and super engaged. And while that makes sense from the front end, I think it's really important to understand that, like there is a lot of importance to like little like growth that's a little bit less targeted, to where you're still like getting like a real you're getting a lot of like real growth, but like it's just significantly cheaper, like based upon my experience. But obviously, the main importance is with targeted growth is like helps with growing like an organic audience, catering to your music style, and like organic traffic and engagement and stuff like that. But yeah, that's something that I kind of just like, just kind of jotted on, thinking about this question, was just understanding the fact that like there is like a huge like gap as far as pricing for like targeted growth and like less targeted growth, I would say, just because targeted growth is typically a lot harder to do. So that's why, like, okay, I'll give an example. So I'm not talking so broad. Think about like, so I'll have clients like that want to do like giveaway growth, right? So basically what giveaway growth is we take like a celebrity influencer, they promote like a giveaway saying that they're giving away like iPhones, AirPods, MacBooks, like Louis Vuitton purses, whatever. Like they're giving away a lot of like items that like people will want. And to enter that giveaway, and I'm sure people have seen this on social media before, to enter that giveaway, they like everyone, like to enter, they have to go follow everyone that this like specific host page is following. It's typically like the company's page. So it's typically like 50 to 80 people, and they'll go down that list and they'll follow everyone, and they have to like comment done. And there's checkers that will like check and make sure that like that you followed all those pages in order to like, be submitted to like win those items. So when you think about it from that spectrum, it's like, okay, that's definitely not targeted because they're following you to win something. But on the flip side, you know, these are people that are real followers and they can turn into engaging fans and clients. You just have to be like, you just have to understand like how to present yourself and how to like, you have to have a good brand and you have to be like posting a lot of content and just, you know, making sure that like things are getting seen, just by like continuing to like make sure that you're, you know, creating new content daily. So like that's something that, you know, can be like on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of pricing. And then you're, you know, a lot of these campaigns, they're guaranteeing like a specific amount. Like you could, I mean, I think for average, maybe like a couple of years ago, we were doing like 10K growth campaigns with like big rappers and stuff and influencers. And I mean, the price range typically was about like $500 to $600 versus I have a lot of people that want, you know, some of the bigger artists that I know, they're like, I just want him to shout me out on my story. And I mean, I literally had like people wanting to pay and like, so $500 for 10K guaranteed growth versus like, let's say Lil Xan, for instance, a story post from Lil Xan who has, you know, I think a little bit over 4 to 5 million followers. That's targeted because, you know, he's vouching for you if he's posting you on his story. But at the same time, I've seen brands that we've worked with who like wanted that story post, they might get like anywhere from 150 to 250 followers, sometimes even less, depending on the time of day that he posts that story, the content, you know, catered to that story. So it's like, you know, you might pay, you know, and that typically we ran about $1,500. So do you want to pay, you know, $500 to guarantee that you're going to get 10,000 real followers? It's just kind of up to you to like turn them into engaging fans. Or do you want to pay like $1,500 for targeted, but at the same time, like you might pay $1,500 and only get 50 followers. Now, yes, they're targeted, but at the end of the day, it's just 50 followers. So there's a huge difference. And I feel like people need to understand like it's okay to go with the non-targeted right now, especially 9 times out of 10, most people don't have a huge budget to just spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars getting all of these influencers to post their content, you know, all the time. So just understanding that like people like musicians, you have to be open-minded. If you're not open-minded, you're just selling yourself short and you're not going to get to where you want to go as quick. You're going to take 50 years while these guys right next to you are going to take, you know, who are more open-minded, you know, might get to where you want to be within 6 months, you know. So that's just something that I kind of wanted to weigh on. I think you're muted, by the way.
I am. For editing purposes, I'm gonna try and mute myself as much as possible when you're, because I have a tendency to like pull an Oprah on you and go, yep, I see, you know, and I interrupt the video. So I have been asked to mute myself so that I don't interject too often.
No worries. I just want to make sure that you knew that. But
thank you. So the next point we have is identifying the right channels and platforms to promote your music effectively. And I'm glad that that's next, because I got the feeling when you were making the first point, that even if you're doing like a less targeted approach, it's important who you're doing that with. Like, so maybe you're not doing a targeted approach to your marketing, but you're choosing to work with people who could possibly reach your target market. Is that is that how you would put that? Or
do you mean in terms of like influencers, like the specific influencers for like giveaway growth?
Yeah.
So I mean, typically a lot of times people will like, I'll have like musicians that only want, you know, musician influencers running the giveaway growth campaigns. I've seen that a lot. I think that it's built upon like preference, and I understand that aspect. You know, you want like people who already, but I think I talked about this our last meeting, but you know, pretty much everyone loves music. So I think that again, that's another thing that you just kind of have to weigh on, because a lot of times, you know, I've had like people that were a little bit more picky. They're like, you know, I'm a rapper, I want a rapper influencer running the giveaway. It doesn't make sense to me having this, you know, model or, you know, whatever, this actor, you know, hosting the giveaway when I'm into music. And I get that concept. I've thought about that as well when I was a musician for 10 years. When I first started getting into like, you know, marketing my own music and paying for campaigns. However, I would say that, again, it's one of those things we have to be a little bit more open-minded, because I mean, there's opportunities there, and at the end of the day, like everybody listens to music, so and rap or pop or hip hop or country, whatever, like you're gonna find people that are gonna cater to your music regardless. So like these followers of this model influencer for this giveaway growth campaign, they're not like, oh, I don't like music, I only like models. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone likes music. So it's just like, you just got to be really open-minded and understanding like, okay, like my niche, music is such a broad niche. It pretty much caters to everyone. Now there's definitely people that like don't like country or don't like rock or don't like rap or whatever. But like, that's at the end of the day, like people love music. So, I mean, I think it's just like, again, it's one of those things about just being open-minded.
In other words, exposure is the name of the game. When it
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you think there are instances where someone can kind of cast that net too wide? What would you say? Like, say I'm just starting out, I got a country album, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just starting out. Do you think that there are times when possibly I can just work with everybody and it's not beneficial? Or like, what are the qualifications that I should be looking for before I work with someone?
So do you mean like you working with like a marketing, like a marketing?
Like influencers.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, something that I think about with like that I speak to like with some of the artists that I work with on a monthly basis is kind of just like you want to like grow your following, but you want to have everything leading up behind it. And what I mean by that is like sometimes like I've had people that I've worked with who like have done like giveaway growth campaigns every single month, and now they're sitting here at like 150,000 followers because they've consistently invested in giveaway growth. And then you look at their Spotify, and they've done no marketing on their Spotify, so their Spotify is like dying. So it's like I know this is kind of a little bit different response to what you were asking, but I think like just like an important point is like something that I think about is like just making sure that you're hitting all aspects of your marketing. So it's like, whenever I got signed to Empire and, I did a sold out show, my last show, I did a sold out show, and there was a lot of label people there. And I was, when I got really, really connected with the industry, before I got into the business aspect, I really made sure that I was like hitting every single aspect. I was doing a lot of advertising on Spotify with algorithmic playlists, editorials, and then obviously going through like private, curators. I was making sure my Instagram was looking good. I was making sure like everything was looking good, but not like so much so that like it looks like it's too much. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't recommend someone who's just starting out with a country album, right, to have like 1 million followers. Because yes, you could probably like buy real growth up to 1 million followers, but I think it's just like pacing. It's not like pacing yourself, and like you still want to be open-minded, but like you want to make sure that everything else like comes together and looks good. You know what I'm saying? Like make everything look pretty. That's something that I always say on my phone calls. Like make sure everything looks pretty. Like the question that you were tying into, like I don't know if we got to that second question yet, talking about like just like promoting like what each channel like is effective for.
Yeah, identifying the right channels.
Right. Okay, cool. So something I wrote down just so I don't get super off topic, because I can do that pretty easily. Is so TikTok influencer marketing. This is pretty much an obvious, right? So like something that I work with a lot of my musicians. We work on like influencer marketing for TikTok. So I don't think it's this huge necessity that you have to build your own brand on TikTok. Now that works out for some artists, but at the same time, like I don't think it's like such a big necessity to where like it's like a make it or break it. Like I believe TikTok is kind of like a gatekeeper in the industry, but like you can utilize that in a way where you don't have to destroy your brand, dancing around your house doing weird, videos on TikTok, right? So it's like you can utilize it in a way that something that I work with is we work with a lot of large influencers, and they can do the crazy stuff just to your music, right? And so they create trends. That's the biggest thing for TikTok is creating a trend, working with large influencers. That's the first, like like again, I got into getting into the business side of things, but right before I started getting into the business side of things, I was working with influencers. I would literally just reach out to influencers that I thought, you know, I could contact, maybe ranging from like 50 to 100,000 followers, and I'll just ask them, hey, you know, how much, you know, how much would you charge me if you made a skit to my sound, and just go from there, you know? So I think that's a huge asset with TikTok is working with influencers, especially there's so many people that have a big following on there, but don't really have like, they don't really make a lot of money, you know? And so I think that's a huge value right now, because I mean, there's people on there, they're 18, 19, 20 years old. They have 500,000 followers. And if you tell them, hey, look, I'll give you a couple $100 to like make a video to my sound, they're gonna be like, yeah, for sure. And you're getting an audience of 500,000 people for a couple $100, you know? And I think that's going to be something that, and you've already seen this, probably these influencers are making more and more money, so they're going to upcharge a lot more. So I think I talked about this last month, was just like making sure that you're like utilizing that right now, because influencers are going to start making more and more and more, and companies, businesses, brands are seeing the value in that, so they're going to start charging a lot. So once these influencers are getting, you know, 10, 20 grand from these big brands to promote stuff, they're not gonna see your, you know, couple $100 for anything anymore. So that's one of the biggest things for TikTok. Instagram, networking and branding, that's the second down the list. Like like Instagram is like the mecca of like networking. Any connection I've ever made with like influencers, or like clients, even when I was a musician and I was like I said, I was, you know, hitting up or contacting TikTok influencers, I wouldn't contact them directly on TikTok, because they had a big following on there. I would typically go contact them like on Instagram. So that's a big thing. It's just like utilize your Instagram as a means to network. I think Instagram is a really beautiful platform in the sense that like it's really good to be able to like just like direct messaging people. Like it's just a huge like asset. I feel like as a musician, and it's like the is I had a weird like analogy, but I said this like TikTok is the hands working, Spotify, like your music platforms are like the mouth, but like Instagram is the heart. Like I feel like Instagram is like the core of social media till this day. So I think utilizing like Instagram as a means to like build your fan base, and branding, like I said, like what kind of content that you're posting. Typically, whenever I think about a musician or someone, I hear a new musician on Spotify, the first thing I do is I go look up their Instagram. Even before I started business, I'll be like, oh, well, I want to go see their Instagram. You know, I feel like Instagram is such a core way to like connect with people, and to brand yourself and create that persona that you want to create with your artistry. So I think Instagram's really valuable for that aspect. YouTube content, right? Spotify, Apple Music, streaming platforms. That's going to be your content. That's your product. And then Twitter. I don't have a Twitter, but I know that's really good with like engaging with your fans, giving them updates on things. I feel like Twitter is not a huge. This is just my own personal like, you know, preference, but I feel like Twitter's not like a huge value in the beginning. I feel like once you start growing a fan base a little bit more, I feel like Twitter is something that you should focus on to create like a little bit more of a buzz for yourself. Like, hey, follow me on Twitter. And then you can start like engaging with them a little bit more, you know, tweeting or just responding to fans' tweets, and then giving them updates if you have a show coming up. I feel like Twitter's really good in that sense. But other than that, I feel like definitely the biggest things is like streaming platforms and Instagram.
It looks like, and I know we normally wait till the end for Q&A, but Athena had a really good question about something you said earlier. It says, once algorithms are down, can you raise them up? Can giveaway campaigns include email addresses? Seems like they unfollow after getting the goods.
Yeah. So algorithms are down, can you raise them up? So I think what she means is like, can you fix the algorithm? Like if you're like shadow banned or your posts aren't getting seen. So I think that that's something that really just comes organically with posting a lot of content daily. I think that it's a very weird area. It's like a gray area, especially for a lot of people that I work with. We understand that there is shadow banning. That's a real thing that, Instagram does, that Meta does. But at the same time, I think that no one really has like a full grasp on exactly how it works and why it happens. I think that Instagram's algorithms, aren't like they used to be. I think they're trying to fix them with like Instagram Reels. But I think that the biggest thing is just posting content. I have a girl I know, and she's very, very well connected in the industry. And she's a really cool girl. And she told me, like, I think something like 12 story posts a day minimum helps with the algorithm. So there's a lot of weird tips and tricks to helping with the algorithm. Definitely Reels, hashtags, posting on your story constantly, making sure that you're posting even hard posts, which is just like pictures on your Instagram. Like honestly, the people that I know that like run meme pages that are very, very like, they have like very high engagement, they probably post like every hour, every 2 hours. I worked with this one company that they needed some curators, and I've had some of my clientele work for them, and they had a big meme page. There's probably over 10 million followers, and they would just curate content for them, and source content through like TikTok and other platforms, and they would post every like 30 minutes, 24 hours a day. So I mean, that's so like just continuously posting and posting and posting. That's really the biggest thing. A lot of artists, they're so focused on everything else that they don't post the content. And that's something that I've made a huge mistake on when I was a musician. So even if your posts are getting 10 likes, 20 likes, no likes, doesn't matter. Continue to post, post on your story. Make sure it's good content too. You don't want to just post anything and everything. Make sure it's good quality content. You don't have to have a $10,000 camera. Just make sure the lighting's good. Make sure you have a nice outfit on. Take 50 pictures and choose one out of 50, right? So it's kind of like that kind of stuff. But like just continuously posting is a big thing. Giveaway campaigns include email addresses. I don't know what she means by that, but I think you're muted.
Athena, do you want to unmute yourself? And
sorry, I did. I apologize.
hi.
Hi. Thank you for doing this. This is good information. Yeah, I've been told the best thing to get is an email address in any kind of correspondence with a follower. And I don't see what they're getting out of paying people to, what's the word? They're wanting them to follow a certain number of people. And what do they get out of that?
So it's kind of like a raffle. So essentially whenever, so you'll take so let's say I'm the consumer, right? And Ariana Grande is running a giveaway, whatever. I'm just making up random. So I see her running a giveaway. Wow, she's sitting here in this picture in front of all these Louis Vuitton bags and, iPhone 12s, and I want, one of those, products or whatever. And she posts on her, under the caption, explaining, hey guys, I'm running a giveaway with this company. We're going to start giving away a lot of these products. All you have to do to enter that raffle is to go follow all these people. So essentially, like from the musician aspect or the influencer or someone that's paying for this giveaway growth, you're going to be on that following list. So all these people are going to be going to follow you to win something, right? So it's like, it's a free way to like enter it's like buying a lottery ticket, right? Except you're not paying for it. And there's only, especially if it's like a smaller influencer, there might not be a whole lot of people, entering that. So you have like a % chance to win. And there's actually real winners and stuff that win these products. So that's what they're getting out of following these 50 to 80 people, which is pretty much the average clientele for the campaigns. Is like they're following all these people, click commenting, I'm done. We check and make sure they're following all of our clients. And then we choose a winner to send, the new iPhone and, the new bag. So it's like a raffle. And on the flip side, the consumer side, so I'm paying to enter a giveaway. All these people are following me to win something, right? So yes, it's untargeted, but these are still real followers. It's the cheapest way to gain real followers. And then it's up to you to like turn them into engaging fans and clients of yours, right? And I like the last question or the last statement you said, seems like they can unfollow after getting the goods. So the thing with that is we do see a drop rate. That's pretty much a given. But a lot of people, you'd be surprised how many people forget that they did all that following, and then you pop up in their feed, you know, a week later, 2 weeks later. I've done giveaways myself for my own account as a musician, and I actually had people become fans of mine, like many people become fans because, and they like, cause you just pop up on their feed. They don't even remember how they followed you. They did that, they followed all those people 2 months ago and they don't even remember, you know what I'm saying? So that gives you a chance to be seen for free. And then they have that opportunity right there. That's where it becomes organic because they see your post on their feed. They're like, who the heck is this person? They see that they're following you. Now they have an option. They can either say, okay, you know what, honestly, this person's pretty cool. I want to continue to follow that person. I don't know how I'm following them, but I like their content. Or they can say, I don't want to follow this person and then unfollow. But yeah, typically that's like a 10% drop rate. So if you're doing like a 10,000 follower campaign where we're trying to get our clients to 10,000 followers, you might see like 1,000 followers drop. And then obviously you're going to have a lot of people that are in that gray area, like I was just talking about, that like kind of forgot that they followed you. And then once you're posting content, they're going to see that. And then hopefully you want them to turn into like engaging fans.
Well, to me, this has really stumped me. On my Facebook private page, I have like 2,500 friends. And I know I will do my live musics on my private page. And I know I don't even get 2 people who see that or acknowledge it out of 25. And I'm thinking the algorithms have knocked me out of these people's sites, or have they gone in there and blocked me? I mean, I don't know what to do.
Like a shadow ban.
Is that what it is?
So that's something that people talk about, yes, and social media. So a lot of people do like talk about like shadow banning.
Okay.
There's a lot of different ways that, like I said, people do tips and tricks on like getting out of the shadow ban. I mean, you might just have a lot of friends on there that aren't really on there as much anymore, or maybe they just somehow they're not seeing your content. And so like, I think the best thing is just like I said, the best thing that I've heard so far is continuously posting, continuously putting out content. So if you're on Facebook, then continuously posting on your feed, and engaging with people, and maybe even messaging people and saying, hey guys, I'm doing this live, Facebook live tonight, where I'm going to be, reviewing some songs or playing some songs or whatever. Just like really, really like hone in on, or like, making sure that people know, what you're doing.
I don't want to take up all the time. I have one more question. I think I'm being rude, but
No, you're good.
When I'm on Instagram, I get people who sign up in a trickle effect, and after about a week or two, I'll notice people are dropping off, and I'm lower than I was before. And is that a shadow ban? Is that, surely people are not spending their time to unfollow someone a week later? Or do people do that?
So that could be. Have you looked at these accounts? Were they accounts with a lot of followers?
No, these are people probably with very few followers.
Interesting. It's hard to say. A lot of people. There's a really old method that is very dated that people used to do to like gain followers, and they'd go follow a bunch of people and then unfollow them, because they wanted that follow back. So that was a big method back when I was in like high school. I had over 100,000 followers in high school, and I didn't really do that much. We mainly did like shout out for shout out with other big pages, but that was something that we started out doing. A lot of people did, where they would like, you would go follow a lot of people, especially people that might be catered to your niche or whatever, and then unfollow. They could be bot accounts. They could follow you just to like DM you something, and you're like I've had like bot pages follow me just so I can kind of see like, oh, who is that just followed me? And then I go to my like hidden requests on my DMs, and then see that like they're like trying to promote something, and then the company would unfollow me at a later date. So it's just, I mean, it could be mass DM type of method. So there's various methods, but it's probably not going to be people that like were following you organically, in the sense that they were wanting to like really engage. It was probably a method as a means for you to get you to follow them, or to see what they have going on.
That's what I thought it was. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Absolutely.
So Chris, you were talking earlier about posting and posting often. And I know, I can't speak for everybody. I know a lot of us are brilliant at music, but as far as like what to post, when you're talking crafting, compelling storytelling and branding around your music, like how do we start? Like what kinds of things would be considered posts that are worth it and that are going to attract the right attention and look good on, when we look back, and what kind of stuff is like, you could leave that out. It's probably not going to really help.
Yeah. So it depends on your niche. I think that the biggest thing is being true to yourself. I think a lot of musicians, especially younger musicians, in today's society and how the music industry is, they kind of everybody, like 90% of people copy everyone else. I can't tell you how many rappers that I've worked with that had similar names to already large artists. And I'm not just talking like a Lil, like I'm talking like actual, like very similar. And I'm just like, you got to be a little more organic than that, I mean, so I think that, but the biggest thing is making sure that you have high quality posts. That's a huge thing. See, it's tough because if you're in the hip hop rap industry, the biggest thing is, and it just always felt off to me, but it's kind of flexing in a way. I mean, it's just like posting content that people think, oh, that's cool. Like, I mean, it's similar to me too, because when I got into the entrepreneur space, like when I went to an event in Miami, we rented a Ferrari, me and one of my partners, we went to this big crypto event. So it's just like, it's all about the look, right? About the branding. But I think that the biggest thing is just like high quality content, making sure that you're posting stuff that's catered to like what you do, being true to yourself. If you want to create a persona, I guess create a persona. I mean, you've seen a lot. I think that one caters a little bit more to like the hip hop niche, maybe even the pop niche as well. But yeah, just being organic, I think, is the best way when it comes to like your actual content. I mean, obviously marketing, there's a lot of various forms of marketing, how to grow your social medias, stuff like that. But like, I think that you'll get the best out of what you're doing if you're being organic with your posts, and you're posting stuff that actually embodies who you are and what you're doing, as opposed to creating something that you're not. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's really just, I think that's a broad question, but just staying true to yourself, posting, high quality content, posting often, posting things that are catered to your niche. So if you're a musician and this is your musician page, you're really striving to be like a really large musician. Maybe you don't post pictures of your food or your cat on your feed, maybe your story, but not your feed. You want to post stuff like, you want to treat it like a business. You want to treat your social media profile like a business. You wouldn't, if you're, talking to potential clients as a real estate agent, you wouldn't be, talking about your personal stuff. You'd be speaking business with them because you're trying to sell a house, right? Or like a car salesman or something. Like, I mean, it's okay to be personable with people, but like on your hard feed, definitely be posting like, quality content catered to your music and yourself. So.
Just unmuting myself. And so we had our next point was exploring innovative marketing techniques that have yielded significant results for renowned artists. What techniques do you feel like have worked the best for you with some of your big artists? And then if you can, Chris, can you sort of like parallel them with things that might work for like some of us that are not necessarily like of that status, or how we can how we would work up to a marketing technique like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, pretty much, I have a lot of different types of like growth methods and social media services, but the ones that I talk about the most are pretty much the ones that I know will sell because I know they work and they're efficient. So when I talk about giveaway growth, it's not that's the only type of growth I have, but I've seen that it's most efficient and it's budget friendly. Obviously doing like the Spotify playlisting, Apple Music playlisting, that's efficient and also budget friendly. We have worked with many companies that had, multiple five-figure budgets, and then we're able to kind of do a little bit more. But I think that for most people, they don't have a whole lot of money to spend, right off the bat. And I was that same way as well as a musician. I mean, I was literally, like I said, I was working valet downtown, working off tips, and all my stuff. If it wasn't going to bills, I was funneling to my music. So I understand the concept of not having a whole lot of money to work with, and everything costs money, and so it can be very draining. I'd say just the biggest thing for me that really helped me was like continuously moving forward in whatever way I could. If I had $100 budget or a $500 budget, because maybe I made really good money that week, with tips or whatever, like I would, allocate some of that towards my music every week, every month, and that's why something that I've kind of come up with musicians more, I guess, more frequently is just kind of doing like a month to month thing with these artists, because I think that a lot of times, like I'll provide these campaigns and then, we don't talk again. So like by doing a month to month, like at least like we're getting them to the next level every single month, even if they only have like a smaller budget, we're able to work with them and make sure that they're moving forward, not backwards. That's the biggest thing that I can say is, even if you're working with a very small budget, like always be wanting to move forward. Okay, how can I move forward? I got $50. What can you do? And like that's some of the artists that I work with, like they're literally like that. Like I don't even have that much stuff that are like $50, but I have some, I have artists that come to me and it's like, look, man, like I just want to move forward. Like I know I don't have a lot of money to work with, but like, what can you do for me right now? And I got this much money. So I really like seeing that type of artist, because I know that that's kind of how I was whenever I had like a social media marketer that was marketing all my music and all my stuff, running all my campaigns. Like I would just like every week I'm like, okay, I got this much money. What can you do for me? And then they'd give me advice catered to like what they feel like I needed to do, like based upon like where I was, I guess as an artist, and like where I was in terms of like my brand, and like where I needed to go to like get to the next level. And so that's something that I do. I like to work with, as well as like custom campaigns. So I really like to like get intricate about things, and learn about the musician, and see where their head's at, what their goals are, their short-term goals. And I like to work with them on that. So I have a lot of artists that come to me and say, um, you know, how much, send me all your services and I'll let you know, like, and I get that all the time. Like, just give me a list of your services, email them to me, but I think the biggest thing for me is it's very hard for me to work like that, because my goal is not necessarily, oh, like I'm trying to sell all these services to make a lot of money. I hope I'm never like that, but I'm definitely not like that right now. Like my goal is like, I don't want to just send you a bunch of random services. I want you to hop on a call with me, talk to me, let me know, hey, okay, so this is where I'm at with my music. Okay, what do you have going on in the future? Are you dropping an album, an EP? Are you working on anything right now? Are you working on growing your Instagram? Are you working on, building your Spotify, or you want to get into more of like the influencer marketing with TikTok and stuff? Like, what are your goals right now, and what are you working with? Like, and I like to work like very customized, because I feel like that's more meaningful as well, because I'm like catering to what their needs are, instead of just throwing out a big list of services and saying, okay, just pick what you want, like a menu, like. So that's kind of how I work. And I like how whenever I was a musician, people work like that with me. And I feel like that actually helped me a lot in the long run, because they kind of helped me understand why I needed to do certain things as opposed to others. Because obviously, like, my biggest thing, if it was about money, I would just send you the most expensive campaigns hoping that you would buy them, right? But that's not my goal. My goal is not to make the most money possible off of you. My goal is like, okay, we need to focus on your music, your brand, and what you have going on. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out a strategy, and let's implement that. So
Nice. That's awesome. I love that advice. Work from where you're at. What can you do today and keep on pushing forward, always grinding away at it. That's really cool. We are actually going to open up the floor for questions. Did anybody want to either unmute themselves and ask a question to Chris, or if you're shy, you can drop it in the chat.
So I think Terry had a question about standout strategies. I think what are some of the biggest standout strategies, or the strategies that stand out the most as far as like making a musician successful, etc.
I mean, obviously the biggest thing to stand out would be branding, and also being open-minded. Like I said, I've had a lot of artists that I worked with. I mean, I've been doing this for over 2 years now. Plus I was a musician for 10 years, and I have a bachelor's degree in marketing, which I didn't necessarily need, but you know, I wanted to have that under my belt for some kind of old school people, because I work with some clients, you know, that are a little bit more old school, and they want to know like, okay, is this your background as well? I think the biggest thing is like I said, being open-minded, because I work with artists that you know, we had giveaway growth campaigns, and you know, they were going to grow you to 20K plus followers, and they're just like, oh, that's gonna look dumb, like I'm gonna have 20,000 followers off a giveaway, people are gonna think they're bots and this and that. And I mean, respectfully, I tell those people, like, if that's what you're worried about is what other people think, then maybe this isn't the right area for you, because you know, being a musician, you're putting yourself out there literally, and that's like, you can't focus on what other people think. You have to focus on, okay, what's going to get me to the next level, and you got to focus on that and that only. And so when you're focusing on, you know, everything else around you, it's really going to hold you back. And that's, I've seen artists do that 2 years ago, and they're still in the same spot that they were 2 years ago, because they had the money, but it's just like, oh, that's gonna look dumb, I don't want to do that. I'm like, dude, if you were just open-minded, I could get you. And then I work with other artists that are like, dude, send me everything you got, I'm gonna do all of it. And I just had a, you know, artist that I work with for the last year, and he was one of the most open-minded artists I've ever worked with, and he's been meeting with major labels. He just had a video come out with Tory Lanez that has, you know, well over 1 million views, and he's just like, stylistically, he's incredible. I mean, he works with so many big artists now. He has a lot of engagement, and he's doing really, really well. And like, a lot of people have come to me like, you know him? I'm like, yeah, I've worked with him before. And he's like an up and comer and stuff. And it's so like, that's what I like. That's what excites me, is people that are open-minded. It's like, all right, man, I trust you. And like, a lot of people, I feel like they're so closed off. It's like, this is like what I do for a living. This is my profession. You know, I don't want to be arrogant about it, but you know, like, if I'm going to the doctor, I'm not gonna try to tell them what to do, like they're the doctor, right? And so it's the same concept. It's like, when you come to me, or I come to you, and we chat about these things, like, at some point you gotta let go and say, okay, I think you might know what you're doing, so I'm gonna let you take the reins, and just tell me what I need to do, you know. And so I feel like that's what really, really makes a difference between an artist that's really going to be successful, versus someone that, you know, might not be able to reach their full potential because they're so closed off. And that doesn't mean that you're naive. It just means that, you know, you got to eventually learn to trust people and understand that, you know, some people really do know what they're talking about, and you know, their background and their testimonial show for that. So.
Hey, Chris, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. First of all, this is Sivan, and I apologize for being late, but I had to do a recording session taping for my church. But thank you for having this. Chris, I have a question for you. With respect to budgeting for an indie artist for your services, can you kind of give me a ballpark or where it starts? I mean, I know you tailor, you know, each campaign to specification, but what would you advise an artist or a team to basically be able to put aside comfortably for you to do your job?
Right. Yeah. So so me and the curators that I've worked with, his name is Mike. He's a really good friend of mine. He's worked with a lot of major artists for, you know, editorials and algorithmic playlists. and like private curated playlists. And one of the things that we set up for like new artists that we wanted to like kind of hop on board with us and kind of build a relationship, because that's one of the biggest things that we focus on is building a relationship with these artists, because obviously it's very easy to get scammed, and so that's one of our big things that we hone in on. And I think that one thing that we came up with is we do like this 1 month one playlist campaign. It's kind of like a starter pack, style of campaign, and basically it's $150. We get them on a playlist for an entire month, and they see the growth on their Spotify for Artists app. They're able to see how many streams are coming in. We send them the name of the playlist, so they're able to see that, and then typically like we have one playlist that we run for all those artists that are on there, and we kind of like move them up. We run ads, on the playlist monthly, through like Facebook and Google. And typically you could see anywhere, I'd say on average, maybe 7,000 to 15,000 streams working with that playlist directly. And so that's kind of like that's probably one of the cheapest things that I offer in terms of like organic growth, is probably like $150 for a playlist 1 month. And that's not something that we want to just continuously do every single month unless that's all they can afford, because we do want to cater to them. But it is kind of a way to like, okay, we're not going to break your pockets. We just want you to kind of understand how we work, how we operate. So, we provide that campaign as a means to grow that relationship. We have a lot of artists that we work with, and they spend a lot of money with us. And it started off doing that little, $150 campaign. And then, throughout the month, they were like, this is awesome. This is great. I'm getting feedback. I'm getting a lot of streams coming in. And then on that next month, it's like, okay, let's do something bigger. And then we kind of create a more custom campaign.
Got it. Okay, cool. Appreciate that. Because I'm a manager. And so, we're always working with artists, working within their budget to
Right.
let them know the costs that are associated with doing things like this. So
Right.
we have, we've just been approved as a Groover curator. So a lot of people are coming to us with different things, and we have access to playlists. But with respect to us being a manager ourselves, we're always seeking other opportunities to help expand our client's brand or their visibility. So thank you for sharing that with me. I'll be hitting you up later on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And Kristen, can we drop your information in the chat?
For sure.
There's a couple artists that want to reach out. Cyrus X wants to work with you, and Sivon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, you can
absolutely.
put it there and in the Slack channel later on. That'd be awesome.
For sure.
Yeah, and Chris is available in the Slack channel for anybody that may have a question. He'll get to you within a week or so. But just drop. He's in the Slack channel as well. That you've all been invited via email, so be sure to get in there.
Absolutely. And I think the one thing, like the two things that like kind of bounce off what he was saying, that I focus on as well as like the giveaway growth. Like I said, that's again one of the things that we kind of work on in the beginning with artists, is doing that giveaway growth. That's so the one playlist 1 month, and like kind of like our international giveaway growth campaigns are typically going to be like our cheapest options right up front. Every month they're different. We have 7 to 12K giveaway growth campaigns that can range from $200 to $300, and then we obviously have like larger giveaway growth, 20 to 40K growth that could be up to $500-$600, and then we have like US like really large influencer growth campaigns, like the Jason Derulo giveaway growth campaigns, or like what I was speaking on, Cristiano Ronaldo's wife's. Which I don't think they're American, but it's a really, really big, growth campaign. Like they're expecting 40 to 70,000 followers of growth from those campaigns. And those are pretty pricey. Those can be a couple $1,000s easily. So we don't try to sell those right off the bat. Again, like I said, because we're not trying to make a whole lot of money. We're trying to, the money will come, but we focus on the service. We focus on the people. So we understand that, you might need to start on something smaller to build that relationship, build that trust, and then obviously we can cater to whatever you're working with.
And apart from the Slack, what's the best way for Cyrus and Sivon to reach out to you? or anyone else?
Definitely Instagram. Even though I have, over 400,000 followers on Instagram, it is kind of like my business. So I'm constantly in my DMs, in my requests, working with artists, talking with artists. Again, like Instagram, like I said, is like the mecca of social media in terms of networking. And I utilize that pretty frequently. So, if you DM me, another thing to do is if I don't respond to your DM right away, maybe comment on my post saying check DMs or something like that. I mean, that's a method that I use when I talk to clients. But yeah, definitely Instagram. You can contact me on Instagram. I'm on my Instagram daily for business purposes. Excuse me. So that's something that is a pretty easy way for me to speak with you.
Athena had a question. That's a tricky one. How do you know if it's the music before spending the money? Can you go ahead and unmute yourself, Athena, and kind of explain a little bit further?
I've been told that I can't even afford a professional mixer right now. So even though I've had a lot of classes in mixing, I know it's not up. And I've heard that people now, if the quality isn't there, they're not going to listen. Do you think that's true? I mean, I guess that makes sense.
I think obviously quality is a huge aspect, especially as everything continues to progress in terms of like music and sound becomes, more quality. I think that, or higher quality. I think that, keeping up with that quality is going to be something that's essential to your music artist or your artistry. I think but at the same time, it depends on what type of music you do. I mean, I have an artist that I work with, that I've been working with for a very long time, and he records on like a snowball mic, but he edits it in a way that sounds really well, like really clear. So I think that if you don't have the money to mix, then that's something that you need to learn, and that's how I was. So I was a musician, like I said, for 10 years, and it was a huge a huge chunk of time as a musician where I didn't really have much of a budget at all. And so that's when I really like focused on learning how to mix, learning how to master. And so that's something that, I mean, that's something that I can, help you on. I think Lander, that's a freebie for you. LANDR.com is a free way to.
We got the best mixing and mastering coach who's actually with us. 5-time Grammy nominated Luca Predalesi. His course is available to you as a pro member or higher. But yeah, he's been nominated in the EDM field 5 times for Grammys. And yeah, any mixing and mastering or knowledge like that, we've got you covered.
I have to admit this though. I will not tell you the money I have spent learning mixing. I have had so many classes. I think I've had every class online. I am just not interested in it. As long as it sounds okay to these ears, I'm good. And so I've got a real problem. I guess I got to solve it. So
Absolutely. Well, I mean, definitely reach out, and I'd be happy to help. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it. I was a musician, like I said, for a long time without a budget. So I definitely understand what it means to have little to nothing to spend. And it's just, I mean, really just finding, ways to, make things sound better than what you really have. I literally had a USB mic for the first 5 years, and no one knew it. Everyone thought that my music sounded pretty clear, but it was a USB mic. But the way that I learned to mix and master was, I think I just learned really like how to make it sound more crisp and clear, to where it didn't sound like I was recording on a $100 microphone. It sounded like I was recording in a professional studio. Also, so much so to the point that I remember when I actually started having a lot of money to invest in my music, I would go to these professional studios in Nashville, and I would mix. I would get my song mixed and mastered, and I would take it home and be like, I don't like it. Like, I actually want to go back and like I actually, all the songs that I did that were hit songs, I recorded in my closet, like on like a couple $100 microphone. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it just depends on what you want your sound, how you want your sound to be. But I mean, it's got to be something that you enjoy, right? But learning tools, learning how to do things yourself can definitely take you a long way in terms of you know, not having to spend so much.
Hey, I have a $600 microphone. I already spent all my money. Money was no object at one point. And now, is there anybody in this group that would do somebody a favor and just kind of listen briefly to the quality I'm doing and kind of guide me on that?
Athena, I
I know
would probably drop, sorry, Chris, I would probably drop that question in the Slack channel.
Yeah,
You
please
know.
link your music in any of our Slack channels. All of them are available to you, and we have a whole community of musicians that would love to hear it out and review your sound.
Sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sure you had
No,
something.
that was good. No, that was good. I mean, like yeah, that's a smart way to go about that. Putting it in the Slack channel and
Part of our community is not on this particular call right now. So you know what I mean? You can drop your info in here in the chat if you want. You can also, drop that info in the Slack channel to get to the larger group. And then you never know if somebody might want to barter or something,
absolutely. That's smart.
I feel your pain, Athena. I'm a singer who never learned to accompany myself. And at some point I had to realize like I have no interest in playing an instrument. I've taken them all. None of them stuck because I only wanted to do them in order to sing. So I know there comes that point when you're like, okay, I could learn how to mix and master this stuff, but I'm really not interested in the technical part of it. I'm interested in the artistic part of it. And I envy those people who are, can do all of it, like, because they have so much available to them. But I know that my time is better spent writing and singing and performing. So
Yeah.
I get it.
Makes sense.
Awesome. Well, everyone, you have the Slack channel link in the chat here on Zoom. Please join it through your email, and you can ask Chris any other further questions you may have that you may think of in the next week or so. We hope to see you again on the next call. He's every first Wednesday of the month, and he's going to give you all the insights and info on social media and music marketing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was awesome, Chris. You definitely gave me some things to think about when it comes to social media and honestly, just how we think of it, because it seems like a booger bear. And when you break it down, like, obviously, I don't want to say it's simple because I know your job is hard and you work with information that, not the rest of us have, but even just thinking about it, just the open-mindedness part of it is huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the keep plugging away at it part, like, what can you do today with your $100? What can you do? Okay, well, you got 1,500 next week. Well, what can you do with that? That's
right.
awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
For
All
sure.
right. Well, thanks so much, Chris. If nobody else had questions for Chris right now, look at Athena. What kind of question you got, Athena?
Oh, you guys are never going to invite me again.
We're always going to invite you.
I've been so
Always
rude. But I'm just, this is such good information for me. But I have heard that you want to hold on to your master files. And if I were to hire somebody to do my mixing for me, how big of a deal is it that somebody is going to hold on to my files, even though it may be on paper verbally agreed that he would not hold on to my file? I mean, does anybody kind of address that? Is that an issue?
When do you have a response to that?
Wow. Okay. So
Different show?
two things. I'm of two minds about that, but definitely we have to ask a professional, and I'm not.
What was the question?
She's wondering about the masters, because I would think you can still send them a version of your work and retain the original copy. Like, I don't think I would ever give anybody the end all be all copy of anything.
Or maybe
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
talking about mixing.
yeah, for mixing, yeah, you're gonna send them the stuff, but you would always retain. So you're talking, are you afraid that they would lose it, claim the rights for it? Because there's a gentleman that knows all this stuff, but I'm just trying to find out like what it is what exactly you're afraid of with sharing the masters. Oh, actually, David Rogers just popped into
That's
the
who you were
room.
just talking about. Just as you said, we know this gentleman. He hops in the room.
David, oh my gosh, Athena, this is like
Welcome to
serendipity to the 900th power. David, unmute yourself. This is so crazy. I don't know if he can hear us yet. So Athena,
David's muted.
Rogers is David Rogers is talking to us about sync licensing. He's on one of our other channels. And he knows everything about the like performance rights and masters and like any of that stuff that you want to know. If I can get him to unmute himself, I don't know if he might have turned us on and then like left the room for a second to go
He
get
says he's on his laptop.
he says, hold up, he's got to switch computers. So
Well,
sorry,
think
go
what
ahead,
I'm-
Athena.
I think what I'm afraid of is that he will hold it on his hard drive for infinity. And if something were to come up down the line when I kick in, I'm no longer on this earth, he will have those files to do at his disposal what he wishes. And it almost seems like something that's out of my control, that's my art. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. Okay, hopefully Dave can, once he gets on his other computer, and then he's gonna, I think he had to leave and he'll come back in. But that's the nice thing about these channels is there's a certain amount of crossover and you just happen to ask the right question at the right time. We did not ask Dave to jump on here, so it's so funny, but he runs one of our other career coaching channels. Right now he happens to be talking about sync and rights. And obviously because the whole thing about sync is it goes hand in hand with rights. If you have the rights to your music and somebody else is using it for recording or whatever, but of course before you even get that far down the line, you want to talk about performance rights organizations and how you can protect your music. Yes. And now I can stop biting for time and he can answer your question for real. Dave,
Hey,
did you hear Athena's question?
she had like the last little bit. I was swapping computers back and forth. About somebody holding her masters hostage.
Well, just having it on their hard drive, it may not be intentional on their part at all. But technically, they've got it on their hard drive, and they could do whatever they want to when I'm no longer on this earth. And I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has this issue because everybody is exchanging stems now. And I don't know how do you protect yourself legally? Is it something you should even worry about?
Normally when it comes down to master rights, you have your master rights as soon as you record a tune. Like, let's say, hey, you went to the studio and you paid the studio to record a song and you got your master recording there and you took it home with you and the studio still has a copy. The studio has no rights to your master recording. So once that song is released and it's out, normally what I typically do is I have, once I backed up my session, I have the studio delete my masters from their hard drives. Just, hey, it could fall, like I don't know what's happening at the studio, who's coming by, who has access to the drives, and that's typically what I do. If that's a concern for you, what I would do is I would bring my hard drive to every session, dump it on my drive, make sure I have it, plug it up to my laptop, make sure I have it, everything's there, and have the engineer just wipe it from the drive.
What I'm really concerned about is a mixer, somebody who would hold them, who's mixing for me.
And I mean, as a mix engineer myself, I only hold sessions for maybe 6 months because I can't hold everybody's session. But yeah, you kind of have to go with a mixer that you trust, to somebody that's reputable. I typically just tend not to send my stuff to people that I don't know. for that purpose that you just mentioned, because I want to work with folks that I know work above board, and sometimes that means a higher price point, but that's worth the peace of mind, I think.
Okay, well, I know I'm not alone. I can't believe everybody's, there are a lot of people sending off to mixers right now. And I'm not worried about copyright stuff. For whatever
Right.
reason, I'm just worried about somebody having my stuff on their hard drive, and they could, I don't know, maybe they would do a documentary of me, and then they could make money off it down the line or something.
Yeah, that's a possibility, and that's something that I think it's one of those pitfalls we kind of all have to watch out for, especially with our intellectual property, with our IP stuff. That's why we have to do our due diligence on the back end and make sure that we're doing our paperwork and all of our copyrights and splits and things like that are in order, so that if and when somebody does something like that, you can litigate, or at least send them a cease and desist.
We gotta do that.
Well, this is awesome. We have two coaches on the same call.
My fault.
Power Rangers, we're teaming up.
It was very strange, Dave. Actually, we were talking to Chris about marketing, and Athena had asked Chris something about the mix, like what, if you, and Chris was letting her know, you just got to have a good product, or find somebody that can mix it for you that you trust, or learn how to fix it yourself. And then as a sidebar, which Dave loves a good sidebar.
Good sidebar, right?
Yeah, she asked about, mixers holding, and right when she asked that question, I was like, you should talk to Dave Rogers.
Popped on right when
We were gonna hang up, Dave. We were just about to hang up when you got on. That's so
Wow,
funny.
you summoned me from the ether.
That's it. That's
I
it.
feel like happened.
Wow, yeah, man, that stuff is strong, man. You summoned me from the spirit realm. Wow.
Chris have a company separate from Music Alliance, or is there a link on that somewhere?
Yeah, if you look in the chat, I think we dropped it up a little bit earlier. And Chris asked that you contact him at Chris Kinney on Instagram, but is there somewhere else that or do you just want to look up his company and his products?
Well, I want to keep him in mind. Who knows? Some miracle may happen, and I may need him. I've got to, make my ducks are in a row before I contact him. But he sounds like he's the man, so
Right.
He is the man.
Thank you. Yeah, social media right now. My dad's a little more old school. He's like, you gotta get a website, man. You gotta get a website. Which I think I definitely see the value in getting a website. It's something that I want to proceed with. But right now, I do most of my business on Instagram, and then just connecting with people on Telegram and different types of like chat platforms. But yeah, definitely Instagram. My company is Loghouse. That's just my S corp business name, but pretty much everything runs directly through me.
All right. Well, we hate to leave like right when Dave just got here, but we were leaving anyway.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. I just stopped by to just say hey.
Hey.
And Dave, he'll be having his session on the third Wednesday. Chris is every first Wednesday of the month. Dave's are every third Wednesday. So the 19th, July 19th. And that's for the sync music and getting like the right licensing and copyrights and your music in the right libraries so you can get it on TV, movies, video games, etc.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we hope.
Sorry, Chris, for hijacking your stuff, man.
No, you're good, man.
I'm here to plug my class, man.
You came in at the right time.
right? Chris was about to jump off and go eat dinner anyway.
Okay, we all be blessed. I'm out.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks so much, Chris, for all the insight.
Absolutely.
We always get pearls and gems when you jump on. So we are looking forward
I
to the
appreciate that.
session, and we will see everybody in the Slack channel.
Peace.
Bye.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.